reflect deeply and you know what it was like those years, no matter how young you were, you would know that it's actually a very good thing to be here today and to say that there is actually these 20 years of democracy and being a part of it today. I think this morning while I was trying to think of what should I say, what should I write, because I'm paid today at the CDD to analyze and I want to start looking first at the good things and the challenges. Then I thought again and said, look, some weeks back we celebrated the anniversary of Biafra, and it was with this very popular hashtag, Never Again. And when we were talking about the Never Again, I was trying to pronounce it in Igbo, having a classmate then who was very troublesome, and we just used to shout his name and say, oh, Zomina, Zomina. Then my colleagues were saying, that is not the real pronunciation, that is not how to call it. But what it means is really never again. It's another tortuous experience in our life. It's one that we are yet to heal of. But that never again in me tells me one story, and that is, never again should we ever have to live through military rule. Because, take it back, I always thought of military rule as though it's Abacha years. Because I am a kiddies corner child. I'm a child who every time in my high school, I get my father to go and post a letter at the post office. And my mama will say, oh, you are the one that is going to land your father in jail. Not because he was an activist, he was a bloody accountant, but he likes talking and talking about government. But he never told me, he was never scared to go and be taking those whatever letters, that whatever it meant to the post office to actually post. It was a day, it was a period that when I reflect, when I sit at the feet of my parents and we talk about it, and we talk in terms of, if you want to talk about primitive accumulation of capital, many people actually made lots of money. But did they have peace? No, they did not have peace. In fact, I do actually remember a period where in this old country, people did not even have kerosene. But right before our eyes, we had people who could pack trailers, tankers of kerosene. And people in Lagos those days, it's like coming from all the way from Ogun State or your state, different far parts of Lagos, to buy kerosene in places like Ikeja, outskirts. It was as bad as maybe people ate the back of cassava out of famine, really. People had to use sawdust to cook. People felt poverty, as in abject poverty, out of so much. But the people who even had that money, who built several houses, who accumulated during this period, still today, they are always happy to think about democracy, even if some of them are not actually doing well today. I know today too that there are actually challenges, because if I reflect on the story of the self alone, I can think of myself as somebody who could actually do any and everything those days. And my parents never told me that in diet, don't. But today also I've had the occasion where they will say, the diet, you have to be careful. And I think that shook me to the roots. And I felt like, if in those days, even in the days of cultism in the university, when people were being beheaded, when people were being killed, nobody called people like me to order. It was always about do what you want, as long as it suits and pleases you and you believe in it. And we still feel that today. So it's a 20 years filled with challenges. It's also a 20 years of positive. But it's these 20 years where we have to start telling the story that never again will the military come to power in this country. Never again should we allow authoritarian government to actually have their place. That as they improve on their own rule books, we as citizens we are a step ahead of them. And I think it's a time to actually stop being despondent and saying that, look, this country is actually irredeemable. The country is redeemable. Yeah. The question is, what are we doing to actually redeem this country in our own little corners? What are we adding to it? And it tells me again the story of CDD. Because when I look at CDD, today we are doing a lot of good things, not as CDD, but as citizens of this country. But I ask myself that yes, we do coalesce as organizations, but how many people can we come out and say that there is a Kayode Fayemi, there is a Tajudeen Abdulrahman, there is a Bayo Lukoshi, Obieze Kwezeli, Okay Bianu, our Biko Bozimo, left, right, and center in different walls, coming in a Bishop Hooker. They came in out of a dream of few people. It became a dream of many. And all these many only had one strong objective. That is about mobilizing global opinion. Today we might be talking about influencing policy change through research in what we do at the CDD, of course, which we are still reflecting on. But what was the main reason for the establishment of CDD? And when you even look at it, it was after the end of military rule that CDD again came to Nigeria, which tells our story of another 20 years in Nigeria on this soil as an organization. So if then we know that we are doing things, and I know today again is a reflection for us because it represents anniversary of two of our founding members, Abubakar Momo and the late Tajudeen Abdulrahman. I cannot speak about Taju. Taju is somebody that everywhere you go and they hear a CDD, or even as a Nigerian, everybody is actually proud to be associated with you. But again, I'm very happy to speak of an Abubakar Momo again, whom in their own little ways, without the Abubakar Momos of today, probably there would actually be no Hidayat standing here. He was my teacher in the university, and from there he mentored me till he and Dr. Jibo gave me this job at the CDD. It was one of not just talking about what we call in development lingo, movement building, as we are talking about today. We are building movements at the community level, we are building movements at all levels, but we are forgetting student unionism. We are forgetting how the labor movement and the coalition of all these people fought for this democracy that we are actually enjoying today. We are forgetting the fact that there were actually people in the universities who are mentoring people to be who they are today. And that is another area that we really do have to work upon. Yes, we might be building movements, but in years to come, how many of such people that were developed in yesteryears will be in institutions like ours, will move from places like CDD and others to actually be in government, will have maybe the left-leaning that Malam Mahmoud Jega has got today. What are we doing? Actually, there is actually a lot for us to do. The space is ours to take, and democracy will actually be defined by what we want it to be. And this 20 years is 20 years for us to say never again. The past is in the past. How do we chart it and move on forward, doing the right thing, taking our place as citizens, owning our country ourselves? It's a collective decision that we have to make as a people to redefine what Nigeria actually means to us, and to also understand that most of the people today who are not romanticizing this democracy or the military regime, but you also have to understand that most of the people today were not born. Half of Nigerians today did not know what it was like to be in those days, and that is why we are happy that we have all the leading lights in the room today. We have specially selected the people we have brought to be speakers, to be our guest speakers. Not because they are no better persons, but they are people who actively took part in getting us the democracy that we enjoy today. And in actually moving forward, they also have a part to play. So it is no longer a period of sit-down look. And I think on that note, I would like to talk about moving forward for us at the CDD. For the last 4 years, we have done what is called the Buhari meter. And normally, as part of our strategy, we talk about approval rating. This year, we decided not to work on approval rating for the government. We feel that at the beginning of a new administration, we should actually be talking about what the priorities of the citizens really are and how they think in their own ways it can actually be addressed. It's not just about experts profiling solutions, but by people who are affected on a daily basis by some of these challenges, speaking on to what the issues really are. Shamsuddin slides. So we have already circulated, and we share slides will come up, but while waiting for that, this survey was conducted between April 24 and May 20 of this year, and we had a sampling size of 5,018, and we utilized 5 Nigerian languages: English, Pidgin English, Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, and all our sampling size were between ages 18 years and above, and cuts across male and female. And we also took a look at the approval of the elections. That is quite interesting for us because whatever the outcome was, it shows a differentiation between male and female, with a further approval rating by the male compared to the females of these elections. But the most important for us is that Nigerians have decided that their top priority in this new administration has to do with dealing with the economy. And by economy, they mean job creation, poverty eradication, better economic policies, agri and food security. So number one priority, you find it as 52% on the economy. The second priority is still 45% on the economy. The third priority is still 43%. So the first to third of all the priorities remains economy, economy, economy for Nigerians. This is followed by security, where we have 24% talking about security, 15% as second priority, and 9%. And this actually shows a further breakdown of geopolitical dimension to it, with the highest being the Northwest and the Northeast, and this is understandable. And I think the general for everybody when it comes to the security issue is kidnapping first and foremost. So kidnapping tops, followed by, I think kidnapping, then Boko Haram, cultism, and political thuggery, and robbery of the families and the areas conflict on the second aspect of what the priority of Nigerians really have. Then infrastructure, many put it as very important, that is power, road, rail, and water. And it comes up here as first, 8%, 12%, and 18% on the priority level of many people, followed by education. And interestingly, corruption comes in at a lower percentage also. They are all geographically disaggregated. We'll be publishing a fuller report of this itself. And they all also had ways they feel that this should actually be redressed as far as they are concerned. For the demand side, for them they feel that there should be a specific, it should be jobs, jobs, jobs. And a further disaggregation puts youth-focused jobs as priority. Then encourage foreign direct investments, support made in Nigeria products and services, create more friendly business environments, provision of stable electricity, access to loans and grants for entrepreneurs, revamping of all seaports in the country, promotion of agro-processing value chain, and discussion about population control are very important things that we should have to deal with. Of course, the experts, so these are the demand side, the respondents. This was what they told us they think is their priority. Our experts are saying that they want the government to constitute a strong economic team made of tested and trusted economic experts, increase investments in education, improve quality of graduates and revive technical and vocational education, have a comprehensive plan to expand affordable housing, sustainable energy, sanitation and healthcare. Government should also act as catalyst to provide necessary public goods, infrastructure, and enabling environment for business to thrive. Now, I think what is very important that I also want to point out is that when we got to the age grade of 64 and above, the older generation, there is a demand for health as a priority on the side of these people. This is quite instructive. And most of this data, either we disaggregate it on geopolitical basis or in terms of sex or gender, it comes the same. Like, it's almost equal. So we'll be circulating the full report at the end of the day. It will be available also on our website at www.cddwestafrica.org and www.buarimeta.ng, and we'll circulate to the emails of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, indeed, Hidayat. And we begin first and foremost by adding my own words of very warm welcome to each and every one of you here. Thank you for accepting the invitation from CDD to convene us today to reflect upon 20 years of elected civilian administration in our country. And I think there is a lot which is to be said for the work which CDD has carried out over the 20 years of its existence within Nigeria. CDD's founding predates those 20 years. And maybe there's now an opportunity and an occasion to begin to think of writing the CDD story from when it started out in exile by a group of Nigerians, including the late Brigadier Ibrahim, about whom you will hear more, but a collection of others. And the thinking at the time to create a forum which would not only think in terms of the liberation of Nigeria from the vestiges of neo-colonialism and of military authoritarianism, but also the rest of West Africa, because there was a conviction that the military dictatorships of the West African sub-region were themselves very highly coordinated in their governance of the sub-region, whereas those who were fighting for democracy seemed to operate on the basis of country-specific modes of mobilization without building the necessary bonds of cross-border transnational solidarity. But that's for another day, and I hope, Hidayat, that it will be possible in the near future to write the CDD story, whilst some of the founding actors are still alive and still around. In the period since CDD has been active in Nigeria, I think it has distinguished itself as a pioneer, progressive and critical voice on virtually all aspects of our governance existence, on political processes, on the economy, and on the challenges of transformation which confront us as a country, beginning with the person who is now the governor of, or was returned to be the governor of Ekiti State, who had the responsibility from the beginning to direct the center, both in exile and upon its return to Nigeria, and then succeeded by Jibril Ibrahim, who is here with us today, and who helped in the context of the transition from military to civilian rule to carve a niche, a credible niche for CDD in the ferment of elected civilian administration and what it might mean for the ordinary people of the country. It's, I think, a tribute to the center that it also identified a next generation and female person in Hidayat to take over the reins and take CDD into the digital age, away from the analog revolutionaries like Jibril Ibrahim. So, thank you very much, Hidayat, for the work which...
I'm no longer analog.
It's extremely challenging, and I think this is going to be the duty of our keynote speaker. It's extremely challenging to unpack the last 20 years of our experience. And there's a sense in which I think all of us here can be sympathetic to the suggestion which Hidayat has made, that in a certain sense, the survival, and I'm using my words very carefully, of continuously elected civilian government in Nigeria is something of a victory for all of us as citizens. In the sense that, and I remember the slogan at the time, when the battle was really joined across the country by progressive forces against the Babangida and subsequently the Abacha dictatorship. The slogan across the country was essentially that the worst civilian government was better than the best military government. And I think that basically summarized the mood of the mainstream critics and opponents of continued military rule in our country. And yet I think there's a sense in which many of us would feel, I think justifiably, that although we have traveled a good distance, there's still much more ground to be covered. And when Hidayat said she didn't want to appear to romanticize the last 20 years, what I took from it and which I share is essentially that we may, in 1999, like the Israelites of old, have sighted Canaan, but we are not there yet. And I think there are many grounds on which we can feel unhappy about what we have witnessed over the last 20 years, even as we celebrate the fact that military rule has been consigned in some sense to the past. And our principal preoccupation is no longer simply a matter of getting the soldiers back to the barracks, but now investing ourselves much more deeply in the quality of governance and what we deserve as Nigerians to lead a dignified life in a united and stable country. And on the basis of all of the experiences which we have built since independence, there is a certain sense also in which one could feel that this may actually be one of the better opportunities which we have had since freedom in 1960 to build a truly meaningful country in which every Nigerian, irrespective of ethnicity, irrespective of region or religion, would be able to find themselves and fulfill their potentiality to the utmost possible. Regrettably, and all of the barometers that you shared with us, Hidayat, indicate quite clearly that we are certainly far from it. Poverty threatens to make residents in Nigeria migrating from India, with the projection that Nigeria will be home to the highest number of people living in absolute poverty. And that should frighten us. It should frighten us because on the basis of what is used, the money metric measurement of what is defined as poor, actually nobody can survive on those figures, right? $2.50 a day, convert that into Naira, so remove the cost of transportation, and don't add house rent, don't add electricity, and you begin to get the picture of massive poverty, which goes side by side with growing levels of inequality that we have not seen historically in Nigeria. And that is as true, I think, for Nigeria as other parts of the world. For those of you who read the comparative literature, Thomas Piketty has produced a monumental volume of some 400 or so pages, in which he shows that the world is actually going through one of its most unequal moments in the history of humanity, in which the wealth of the 10 richest people is actually equivalent to what almost 90% of the rest of the world is able to claim to own by way of assets of any kind. And all of the illustrations indicate that those challenges of inequality have been refracted into our system here in Nigeria. And across the board, you can see it. We live in inequality of a magnitude which we have not seen historically in our country. And when we add this to the fact that, again, Hidayat, you are right, there's a whole generation that has been born since 1999. But the fact that our demographics is very youthful, and yet the young also constitutes a high proportion of the poor and of the unemployed. Even worse than that, I would say, perhaps my generation had a few people to look up to as heroes, as examples of probity in public service, as people whom you wanted to grow up to be like, right? Even you wanted to be able to write like Chino Achebe, you wanted to be like Wole Soyinka, even when the post office still worked, able to write a letter as a student in Sokoto to Wole Soyinka somewhere in Ibadan, without even knowing his exact department, to just say that I liked your Lion and the Jewel, and can I ask you a few questions? And the Soyinka replies you, and it makes your day, and you begin to invest yourself. Who are the heroes today that our youth can look up to? And who are the models and the examples that they can draw on? Especially in the context in which we have seen a wholesale reversal of values, in which what counts really at the end of the day seems to be the amount of money you can post to her or you can flaunt. Not so much how you get it, not so much what use you put it to, whether productive or simply parasitic, but simply that whole idea that you have amassed money and you can flaunt that money and throw your weight around as though that is the only parameter that mattered in public service and in leadership. And this speaks to the rampant and wanton nature of corruption that has eaten into the body fabric, into the very soul, and is so a country whose soul is so deeply corrupted. Military rule came in the first instance to fight corruption, was overwhelmed by corruption, and it left corruption behind. And corruption has also grown wings by leaps and bounds to a point where to even attempt to fight corruption appears to be a hazardous task. We've reached a point in the country in which even our motivation for public service, even the best-minded of our people who seek public service, already majority of the population believes somehow that you must have a corrupt motivation for going into public service. And I can go on and on, but it is really not my duty to do all of these assessments today, because in Mahmoud Jega we have somebody who has been both a chronicler of the times, of all of what we have experienced in the last 20 years, in which he has been one of the foremost voices in our journalistic arena. But beyond being a chronicler, he has also been a partisan combatant for a better Nigeria. I don't know what it is that runs in the Jega family. He is related to Atari Jega, but whatever it is that runs through your veins, I think the choice of Mahmoud as keynote speaker would not have been a better one, for which I would like to thank CDD and also welcome you again, Mahmoud, for accepting the invitation. I would like to close my opening remarks by simply saying to their professional colleague, today's battle is one of reclaiming our citizenship. And we must reclaim our citizenship, learning all of the lessons that 20 years of elected civilian government has taught us. One of the lessons I take away from the last 20 years is a very simple one. I know that regardless of whatever the antics of the politicians may be, corruption has shown itself not to have tribe, not to have religion, and not to have region. And for me as a citizen, nobody is going to fool me again with ethnic, religious, or regionalistic sentiments, because it is very clear that those who have administered us over the last 2 decades, on the whole, have been united, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of religion, and regardless of region, around a shared purpose of simply abusing the public trust in a lot of cases, and we cannot allow that to continue. It's also clear that all of the struggles which we have for a better Nigeria cannot fully be realized if it is only confined to either just a set of Nigerians or a part of the country. United action across the Niger, north and south, east and west, is what is required. And the day citizens find themselves in this Fourth Republic and say enough is enough, that day democracy will truly come to Nigeria.
I cannot see a space to keep because too many microphones.
Just throw out half of them.
Thank you very much. Let me begin by thanking CDD for inviting the directors and zoologists to come and reflect on 20 years of the Fourth Republic. It's a curious choice, but I will not be the first one. Because back in the 70s, I remember reading one of Nigeria's pioneer diplomats, Ambassador Leslie Harriman, who was also a zoologist, was asked, "You are a zoologist, how did you end up in the foreign science?" He said, "Because diplomacy is actually a zoo." And then we also joined CDD in celebrating the lives of our departed comrades, Dr. Tajuddin and Professor Abakar Momo. They were great patriots, and during their lifetimes they contributed immensely to the struggle for a better Nigeria. We celebrate their lives and we also pray for the repose of their souls. I've been asked to reflect today on 20 years of democracy, not of democracy, 20 years of the Fourth Republic. Now, by way of comparison, the Fourth Republic differs from the three previous republics that we have had in Nigeria in several respects. For one, it is the longest. While the First Republic lasted 5 years and 4 months from independence, the Second Republic lasted 4 years and 3 months, while the Third Republic was inconclusive. Although it had elected state governors and state assemblies, and it even had a national assembly to which the Armed Forces Ruling Council ceded some inconsequential powers, including the power to legislate on museums, monuments, and public libraries. We didn't have an elected president in the Third Republic, where we had one who was elected on June 12, 1993. But the returning officer, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, did not declare the result until 15 years later at an awkward and legally inconsequential public lecture in Abuja in 2008. Now, in the First Republic, we had 2 federal elections in 1959 and in 1964. In the Second Republic, we also had 2 elections in 1979 and in 1983. But in this republic so far, we have had 6 elections in 1999, 2003, 2007, 2011, 2015, and earlier this year. Now, throughout the First Republic, we had only 1 prime minister. Throughout the Second Republic, we had only 1 president. Throughout the Third Republic, we had no civilian president, but we had a military president. In the Fourth Republic, however, we have so far had 4 presidents, even though 2 of them were army generals. We have had 6 presidential transitions so far in this republic, 5 of them through elections, 1 of them after a death in office, although 3 of them were cases of one person transiting to himself. In fact, the unimaginable in Nigerian politics happened in this republic when a ruling party at the federal level was defeated in the national election and they peacefully handed over power. Now, the quality of a republic is a mishmash and an interplay of personalities and institutions. In the Fourth Republic, some institutions have exceeded the role prescribed for them by the Constitution. Many other institutions have fallen below the role prescribed for them by the Constitution for their swag. Only one of them mastered the art of comic relief. None of the 4 is famous for his oratorical skills. Even though one of them was a PhD, none of the 4 is regarded to be an engaging intellectual, and certainly none of the 4 qualifies as a philosopher. All 4 presidents that we have had in this republic are, however, united by a common dislike for the mass media, a common suspicion of the National Assembly, a common antipathy towards the judiciary, a common distrust of labor unions and civil society groups, an abiding faith in foreign governments, a love for foreign newspapers and foreign associations, a common love for attending ceremonial meetings abroad, a common tendency to take Nigerian citizens for granted, and a common predilection to repeat the mistakes of the past. Since 1999, the presidency in Nigeria has exceeded the rules and powers prescribed for it by the Constitution. For example, through the agency of EFCC and ICPC, the federal government has arrogated to itself the role of bullying state and local government. At one time, the presidency used the EFCC to force some state assemblies to impeach their governors, even when they didn't have the power. one of the biggest power snatches in this republic was the allegation to the president of an unknown role called party leader. In that capacity, a president determined the candidates that the party fielded at all levels, and even determined who is a party member by organizing a re-registration of party members in which he handed over membership cards to select individuals. The president also invited people from other parties to come into his political party late in the day and to become candidates even though the party had already concluded its primaries. At some point, the presidency arrogated to itself the power to dictate to INEC who should be declared the winner of any election and how many votes to allocate to that person. The presidency also assumed the role of appointing principal officers of the National Assembly. It is doing so right now. And any National Assembly leader who tried to assert its institutional independence was removed through what was famously called the banana peel. More recently, state governors are up in arms over a move by the federal government through the NFIU to bulldoze away the state and local government joint account, even though it is provided for in the Constitution, but even though it is also one of the most abused institutions of this republic. Now, after the president, ministers are the most visible and most powerful faces of the federal executive. After 20 years, we have had hundreds of ministers in the Fourth Republic. Ministers are extremely visible in Nigeria, and many Nigerians assess the quality of an administration by the antecedents, the sayings, and the deeds of its ministers. In the last 20 years, some ministers were extremely visible. Some, such as Dr. CDD, are unforgettable, while many others were easily forgotten. Portfolio often has much to do with it, because some portfolios carry more responsibility than others. However, a minister's political antecedents, energy, political weight, thoughtfulness, presence of mind, cheerfulness, language fluency, and media savvy, not to mention conception of visionary policies and programs and their successful implementation, all counts towards his or her success. The National Assembly, from what I can gather in media and in private discussions, the National Assembly is the most unpopular of the big three institutions of the Fourth Republic. National Assembly members say that their democratic standing is heavy because of the big three. They were the only institution that was abolished during the years of military rule. This explanation is also given to explain some of the weaknesses of the National Assembly. I personally suspect that the relative openness of the National Assembly counts against it in public perception, because the public knows the salary and allowances of members of the National Assembly, unlike that of ministers and heads of key federal agencies. And also, the Nigerian public does not really appreciate the importance of lawmaking. Nigerians generally do not see why it should cost so much to be making laws. This is understandable, because unlike in other societies where law is seen as all important, in Nigeria, the law is seen as an inconvenience which should be circumvented or even ignored. The general feeling, therefore, is that maintaining the National Assembly at great expense, when what they are doing has little to do with the people's welfare. And it's not for nothing that National Assembly members try to cross over into executive functions by distributing irrigation pumps and fertilizer and other things. Now, the conduct and utterances of some National Assembly members did not help matters. In 1999, when the Assembly was freshly inaugurated, and the newspapers reported that each member was going to get 3 million naira as furniture allowance, there was a large public outcry. And Senator Chubo Kadi, who was one of the finest senators that we had, appeared on LTA and he said, look, we are here to alleviate poverty, not to spread it. Other things that gave the National Assembly a bad image include the delayed passage of the budget padding, scandalous stories about oversight function, scandalous allegations about constituency projects, and the like. Now, the worst defense that ever came out of the National Assembly, in my opinion, was in 2014, when it defended its 150 billion naira annual budget by comparing it to that of the executive. This happened at the time when the then CBN Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi said at a lecture in Benin that the National Assembly was consuming too much of the budget. And the Assembly spokesman said that constitutionally, the National Assembly is equal to the executive, but that it is given only 25% of the federal government's recurrent budget, whereas the executive was taking 75%. It was the most populist explanation I've ever had. As for the judiciary, it has not earned popular respect in this republic. This is perhaps because justice is much delayed, courts adjourn too many times, there is too much technicality in the administration of justice, there is too much miscarriage of justice, there is too much corruption, too much discrepancy between what happens to a small thief and what happens to a big one. There are slap in the wrist judgments where powerful people are involved, such as the man who was convicted for embezzling 21 billion naira in pension funds, and he was fined 750,000 naira in Abuja here. Then there were ruthlessly partisan orders, such as in 2001, when a judge stopped the ANPP National Convention hours before it started. Even former President Obasanjo at the time, when he was asked on media chat, he said that was wicked. And then there are all kinds of interim injunctions. There are contradictory orders by courts of coordinated jurisdiction, and there is the subservience of state high courts to state governments. Now, some of these problems may not be the fault of the judges, but together they contribute to give the judiciary a poor image in this republic. Now, apart from the presidency, state governors are the next most powerful and most visible actors in this republic. I'm trying to choose my words carefully because I was afraid that some governors may walk in, but it is fair to say that state governors are exercising powers beyond what the Constitution envisaged for them. The over-concentration of power in the hands of governors, their total control over contract awards, and the virtual jettisoning of the tenders board and financial rules, the lush security votes, the disregard for civil service rules in appointments and cycles, the advisory nature of the budget law, in the sense that governors pick and choose what they want to implement in the Appropriation Act, the ability of governors to create and fund all manner of unbudgeted projects, the usurping of local government funds through the system of local government joint accounts, the virtual jettisoning of the constitutional requirement that local governments must be run by democratically elected councils, and the relegation of state assemblies to rubber stamp status are all powers not envisaged by the Constitution. Now, as for the state assemblies in Nigeria, most of them are rubber stamped, and they have contributed very little to our democratic experience. Even though they have enough powers under the Constitution to check the excesses of their governors, in practice, they have abandoned those powers in favor of a lapdog rule. If you hear trouble coming from the state assembly, it is because the governor failed to meet the members' insatiable appetite for money, for hard seats, for fertilizer, for contracts, or very importantly, for safe return tickets. All the governors who were impeached in the Fourth Republic in Bayelsa, Plateau, Ekiti, Oyo, and Adamawa were only removed because the presidency forced and blackmailed their respective state assemblies to do so. As for local government councils, of the three tiers of government in Nigeria, they have been the least assertive, the least impactful, and the least respected in this republic. Many factors are responsible for this, but I think the most obvious is the desire of state governors to emasculate them in order to usurp their funds. The funds allocated to local governments from the Federation account are almost as much as those allocated to state governments, and the governors are visibly hungry for these monies. Even though the Constitution requires that local governments be run by democratically elected leaders, this provision is mostly observed in the breach. Most of the time, local governments across Nigeria are run by unelected caretaker chairmen and councillors. This situation perfectly fits the governors, because unelected chairmen and councillors cannot assert their right to their resources, of which they are given only a small part. There is in fact one state in Nigeria, Anambra, that did not conduct local government elections for 13 years from 1999. And the reason they gave was that some people went to court and were obtaining injunctions. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is central to the health of Nigerian democracy. I think INEC is one of the few national institutions that has gained some respect over the years. From its lowest point in 2007, when it organized probably the most fraudulent election in the country's history, it has since redeemed some of its public respect, especially through PVC and Canada. However, serious problems remain in the area of logistics, the role of some of its ad hoc staff, as well as the suspected partisanship of some of its resident electoral commissioners who are alleged to be conniving with ruling parties in some states. INEC should also re-examine the order of elections. I think it is illogical that we should have federal elections before state elections. It is more logical to elect governors and state assemblies before you elect president and the National Assembly, in my opinion. And INEC should also find a way to speed up result collation. It is not good enough, for example, that in 1979, when presidential election was held on a Saturday, Shagari was declared winner at 12 noon on Thursday. 40 years later, in 2019, the presidential election was also held on a Saturday, and the result was declared early in the morning on Wednesday. That means we gained only 30 hours in 40 years. And this, despite the coming of fax machines, photocopiers, personal computers, GSM, smartphones, emails, Wi-Fi, and social media. Now, compared to INEC, which at least gets praise for certain things, the State Independent Electoral Commissions, SIACs, are the institutional sick babies of the Fourth Republic. Almost no one takes them seriously, and there are even calls to transfer their functions of conducting local government elections to INEC. This is because in almost every state that holds local government election, the ruling party in that state wins all the chairmanships and all the councilorships. The belief is that no real elections actually take place, and these seats are simply allocated. It is also observable that the 100% sweep of some state ruling parties in local elections did not translate into similar performance in the general election conducted by INEC. In fact, there are about 2 states where the ruling parties at state level swept the local elections 100%, only to be defeated in the general election. As for political parties, compared to the political parties of the First Republic, which commanded the lifelong loyalty of their members, and compared to the political parties of the Second Republic, which were accused at the time of over-mobilizing people, the political parties of this republic are something else. They have no ideological direction, they have no policy platforms, they have no solid cohesion, and except in a few cases, they have no charismatic leadership. In fact, you can't tell them apart from each other with respect to any policy or program. Right now, the number of political parties in Nigeria is also a problem because there are 93 registered political parties compared to 5 in the Second Republic and 2 in the Third Republic. Now, most of these 93 are briefcase political parties that are only waiting to cash in on crisis in some of the major parties. Their number is also responsible for the length of the ballot paper. And the length of the ballot paper, in turn, increases the possibility of making mistakes in printing. And some of them are lying low, hoping that their name or their logo will be omitted from the ballot paper. After we would have spent billions of naira conducting an election, that a court can quash it simply because the name or logo of one nondescript party has been omitted. Now, the sheer number, as well as the similarities of these logos, also confuse illiterate voters, and their number is also responsible for the unnecessary delay in result counting and the collation. Now, the weakness of Fourth Republic political parties is also responsible for the prominent role that regional and ethnic groups have acquired in this republic. Groups such as Arewa Consultative Forum, Northern Elders Forum, Afenifere, Yoruba Council of Elders, Oduwa People's Congress, Ijo National Congress, Ohaneze Igbo, Middle Belt Forum, Southern and Middle Belt Leaders Conference, National Christian Elders Forum, MASOP, and the IPO are all filling the political vacuum that has been left by the political parties. All these organizations did not exist in the Second Republic because the political parties of that era were extremely effective and they overmobilized voters and they didn't leave any vacuum for any regional or tribal association to occupy, unlike the parties of the present day. Moving quickly, other agencies and institutions that play crucial roles in the survival of liberal democracy in Nigeria include security agencies, the mass media and civil society organizations, including trade unions, women, youth, and student organizations. Together, these agencies are crucial to the health of a democracy. Now, the security agencies in Nigeria place a lot of premium on protecting elected leaders and other VIPs, but they place much less premium on protecting the lives of ordinary citizens or of respecting their civil liberties. The quality of this democratic republic is marred by too much extrajudicial killing, by too much illegal detention, by too many accidental shootings, by too much detention without trial, by too much prison congestion, by very prolonged trials, by too much harassment of citizens at checkpoints and borders, by too much delay, as well as too much corruption in the criminal justice system. Women, youth, and other disadvantaged groups are still struggling to make headway in this republic. Democracy does not begin and end with voting, but with civil rights, with personal freedoms, with justice, and with accountability. Of the mass media in Nigeria, I don't want to say much. I was already an editor when this republic started. I can only say that the arrival of GSM phones and the later arrival of the internet and the social media has completely changed the media landscape in Nigeria. And even editors now have little control over public information. While the social media has democratized the flow of information and has reduced the tyranny of editors, our society is still coming to grips with the consequences of unedited information flow. As for civil society organizations, it is another story altogether. Remarkably, trade unions in Nigeria were more powerful under military rule than they are in this democratic republic. The NLC is now a shadow of its former self. Some of the most powerful trade unions of 40 years ago, such as the Nigeria Union of Teachers, the Railway Workers Union, the Dock Workers Union of Nigeria, and the Civil Service Technical Workers Union, are all shadows of their former selves today. Nigerian students who 40 years ago were the best organized, most vocal, and the most radical of civil groups in Nigeria are now reduced to organizing award ceremonies to give awards to the best governor in education, the best governor in health, etc. And then there is the electorate. There are now 84 million registered voters in Nigeria, but despite all the intense mobilization, only 29 million of them turned up at the polls during the last presidential election. I am yet to see a very good explanation for that. Maybe CDD has done a research. If we extrapolate from figures of the Bureau of Statistics, 38% of these registered voters are illiterate, and 50% of them live in extreme poverty. Among the remaining voters that are neither illiterate nor poverty-stricken, regionalism, religion, ethnicity, kinship, personal friendship, and personal benefit, like Professor said, are at the top of their agenda when casting their vote. In Nigeria here, a man can successfully contest for governor or even for president without having a program at all. No one will ask him or her what is his program for education, health, economy, infrastructure, or welfare. In Nigeria, therefore, a man throws all his energy into getting elected, and it is after he wins the election that he constitutes a team to work out a program. I once told a story in 2007 of the man who won the governorship election. He invited me to his state, I went and congratulated him. Then he said, advise me on my media relations. I said, well, sir, what I will advise is most important thing. When you are working out your program, take into consideration media traditions. Because the media will come after 100 days and say, what have you done? They will come back after 6 months. They will come back after 1 year. They will come back after 2 years. So don't have only programs that take 4 years to mature. Find some low-hanging fruits and assemble them for the first 100 days. So that when the media come asking you have something to say, he said, very good. That's very good advice. Please do the program for me. I was confused. I said, okay, maybe he means I should take his program and break it. So when I was leaving, I said, sir, why is the program? So that I would go and work on it and break it. He said, there's no program. That's why I asked you the program for me. What is the main measure of success and quality in the Fourth Republic? In the early days of this republic, the concept of dividends of democracy was crafted, or at least was popularized by the first information minister, Professor Jerry Gana. This was defined as the provision of roads, water, electricity, hospitals, and schools. But as some people quickly pointed out at the time, even military rulers could provide basic infrastructure. In fact, in the history of Nigeria, military rulers have provided more infrastructure than democratic republics. We were, however, lucky that the first 6 years of this republic were characterized by high international crude oil prices. Although the federal government itself did little, state governments built a lot of infrastructure, and in fact they saved this republic. Because in 2001, when Professor Jerry Gana organized what he called Good Governance Tower to showcase the so-called dividends of democracy, reporters pointed out at the time that his tour team was only inspecting state government projects because the federal government didn't have any projects of its own to showcase. Now, the question to ask after 20 years is democracy here to stay? In 1976, when the US celebrated 200 years of its Declaration of Independence, Time magazine did a special edition titled A Line Unbroken, and in it, it listed all the presidents of the United States since 1789 with the obvious boast that no unelected person ever usurped the US presidency in 200 years. As we mark this 20th anniversary of the Fourth Republic, we can also make a list of our presidents and boast that it is a line unbroken, only that it is an unbroken line of 4 people. I think liberal democracy survived uninterrupted in Nigeria for 20 years, not so much because of its own evident success, but because of the international situation, which is hostile to military and other types of unelected government, although it is very favorable to absolute monarchies. Back in the 1970s and early 1980s, anyone of Niger Delta militancy, Boko Haram insurgency, farmers' hardest conflict in the north central, IPOB secessionist agitation in the southeast, kidnapping and banditry in the northwest, or high-level corruption in government, not to mention electoral fraud, will be enough to overthrow the government. Nor should we rely on the international situation to guarantee the survival of liberal democracy in Nigeria. This is because with the rise of right-wing populist regimes in some Western nations, there is no guarantee that they will continue to insist on upholding liberal democratic values in third world countries. We could easily slide back to the 1950s and 1960s, when the Western powers valued a tyrannical but pro-Western regime much more than they value a liberal democratic but a non-aligned regime. Besides, it increasingly looks like the days of the current international order, dominated by Western nations and Western values, are numbered. With the increasing assertiveness of Russia and the steady rise of China to great power status, and the corresponding decline of American and Western dominance in the scheme of things, liberal democracy may one day become an orphan on the international stage. Imagine what is happening in Sudan, including the shooting of unarmed protesters. While Western nations are making feeble protests, the country with the greatest influence in Sudan, which is China, has not said a thing. In the long run, therefore, if we desire to have liberal democracy in Nigeria, we must prepare to do so on our own steam. Democracy in Nigeria can only be guaranteed by its own internal successes. The most urgent one is to guarantee internal security, because without internal security, nothing else matters. If Nigerians continue to die in large number in the hands of insurgents, armed robbers, kidnappers, bandits, militants, herders, farmers, communal warriors, cultists, human traffickers, smugglers, drug dealers, and other criminals, then democracy as a system of government will soon become discredited, and no one will raise a finger to save it when it is threatened. Moving to a conclusion, apart from security, I think the most urgent need is to build infrastructure and to adopt policies that will ensure rapid economic growth and transformation. If possible, to ensure double-digit economic growth over several decades. Right now, progress in Nigeria is held down by our very high rate of population growth, which by far outpaces the rate of economic growth. This means we are becoming poorer every year on a per capita basis. Now, a social economy in which 70% or 50% of the people live below the poverty line is not conducive for the flourishing of liberal democracy, and that is putting it mildly. Problems such as vote buying may never be overcome when voters are so poor. A man who is desperately looking for what to eat today cannot be convinced by a sermon about the need to elect good leaders and wait for dividends of democracy later. You see, as the chairman, my very good friend, Professor Hukoshi, said, it will take the whole of this week if we want to cover the whole of the fourth, reflect Fourth Republic. But I want to borrow the example of the German students. The German teacher gave his students an assignment. He said everybody should go and write a 1,000-word article on milk and submit. And one student wrote 50 words and submitted it. The teacher said, "You are a foolish student. I asked for 1,000 words on milk and you are writing 50 words. He said, "Sir, I wrote on condensed milk." Thank you very much.